That's Liu Shang of China. And the second referee is Takeshi Ishita from Japan. There he is on the right. There is Takeshi Ishita from Japan. Two very experienced officials in charge of this one. And as I said, looking down on the players, you will notice that the Australians are very, very tall indeed. The Korean team will be wearing white. And we start with from Korea. They're going out with number 2, Han Sun-soo. The number 5 is Park Jong-ha. The number 9 is Kwang Sun-suk. The number 12 is Jong Kwang-jin. The number 16 is Kim Ja-won. The number 17 is Ha Kung-win. And their head coach, Ki-won Mark. So that's the Korean team. They'll be playing in white with the red and the black pipings. Now for the Australian team, they go with number 1, Adrian Zingel. The number 5 is Travis Passier. The number 9 is Adam White. The number 13 is Sammy Walker. The number 14 is Gregor Shukochev. And the number 19 is Thomas Edgar. Their coach, of course, is Big John Uarate. And the assistant coach that he has down there is Daniel Aylott. So the teams are ready. The officials will be ready once they do a final check. And the coaches, of course, give the team sheet to the referees, and they give it to them in an order of rotation. So the players have to take up that position that is on that little sheet of paper. And then from there on, they rotate. So you have the players lining up, and as you can look down, you see the Australian team in their green and gold shirts on the right of your screen. They are a lot of tall guys in that team, especially if you look down and see the number 19 there, and that's Thomas Edgar. And Thomas Edgar is actually 7'1", even though the records say that he's only 6'10". He is actually 7'1". Here's the service for the Australians, and they're going to start with the left-handed player in their team, the number 14, but it's the Koreans who get off to a start. The number 14 for the Australian team is a man who plays with the Australian Institute of Sport, Gregor Shukochev. The service to come from the Koreans is going to come from their number 5, and this is Park Sun-ha. Service rescued by the Australians. Put up, and now they can go for a spike, but the spike came down to the tallest man out there on the court, Tommy Edgar. But unfortunately, Tommy put it into the net. Tommy, of course, as I said, is 7'1". He's 21 years of age, and he plays his volleyball in Bastia with Sir Volley Bastia. Set. Nice flick over, rescued by the Koreans. Now put back up, but the Thais can rescue that through Luke Perry at the back, and the block, and rescued again. Now they can set it, the Australians, and that's gone off of hands. Nice spike by the Australians, went off of hands. They've got their first point on the board. Or did it go wide? Maybe it did. I thought it had touched hands on the way through. You hear effects coming from our effects microphone, and you think it was touched. The officials say no. Now the Australians can set it. And is that one out? Yes, that one has gone out again. They went across court with that one. There's John Uriarte, the coach, South American man. That one's just gone out as well. So the Koreans out by 4-0. Not a good start for the Australians. This is Park Sun-hae, 27 years of age. Gregor puts it up for the Australians, rescued by the Koreans, and now they go with their left-handed player, and the left-handed spiker is Kim Jong-won, and Kim Jong-won at 25 years of age put that one away, and straight away the Australians have called for a timeout. John Uriarte not too happy with the performance from the Australians, and he's there talking to, down there, talking to Adam White, the number 9. Adam White is 6'6", and he plays with TV Bula, another European team. So quite a few of the Australians apply their volleyball trade overseas, but they are big, they're tall, and they've allowed the Koreans to get a good start here, 5 points up. And the service is going to come from Park San-hee. Service is floating. Luke Perry picks it up for the Australians, and then the spike came in from Aiden Zingel, but blocked. You can see it hit the top of the net. Didn't get a hold of it properly. Korea to serve again with Park. Park serves it, picked up, set. And the Australians that time are able to flick it over the net. And they're able to grab a point. As you can see, the Korean players go across. And the man with the ball at the moment is the Australian Adam White. Goes long. Now the Australians can set it through Luke Perry, getting it back. And now the blocks by the Koreans, but that might be gone a little too far, and it was, because they are big, tall Australians. And it was Aiden Zingel was in there to block that. You can see the number 1 and also the number 13, Sammy Walker. Good service. That's going to come back, blocked by the Australians. Now put up. Here's a chance for them to go cross court, but that's too long. There was a big chance for the Australians to pull one back there through Thomas Edgar. Service from Korea, and this is going to come from Jeon Wang-jin. Jeon Wang-jin is 22 years of age, 6'4". Picked up and put away by the Australian, but it hit. Now the blocks go back, and the 2 blockers are there for the Australians. The number 1, Aiden Zingel, and also blocking right beside him, as you can see there, the 2 big, tall Australians. They are very tall, so blocking is an easy one for them. There's the assistant coach, Danny Eilert. And we get to the first technical timeout, and it's Korea out by 8 points to 3. A good start for the Koreans, but they were given a couple of free points by the Aussies. And that's something that John Riate will have to sort out, the mistakes, the early mistakes made by the Australians. There's Big John, comes from South America. And there on the left, the number 5. Travis Passir. There's a look at the close-up look at the Koreans and some of the supporters in there. There's Big Walker, Sammy Walker. Sammy Walker is 6'9". He also plays with the Australian Institute of Sport. 24 years of age. And they're allowed to go back after that technical timeout. And just looking down, and I can see on the left Ki-won Park, the coach for Korea. He must be pretty happy with their start. They're out by 8 points to 3, and they now have the service through Han Sun-soo. Oh, it caught the top of the net. He was going for a short service, hoping that one of the Australians would get underneath it, lift it up, and one of his 2 spikers would get in the way and be able to put it away. Here's the Australian, number 19, Tommy Edgar. Good service. Oh, yes, that's what the Koreans were working for. And in came the number 12, Jong Won-jin. And he pushes it down into the middle. Came down as a middle hitter. Service again. Oh, the Australians don't control it properly, and they didn't control that as well. They gave that one away. Here's the Koreans, but blocked and taken up, but a double hit. Australia get the point. 9 points to 5. Australia to serve. Left-handed player. Korea in a bit of trouble here, but they got out of the trouble through their number 16. And that was Kim Jong-won. Kim Jong-won, left-handed player. And he was able to put that one away. This is Kwak Sung-juk. Kwak Sung-juk with the service. Luke Perry gets underneath it. The Koreans have to rescue it. Little left-handed shot. Now they set it for the far side. Rescued by the Koreans. Nice piece of digging out, but the blocks are there. That was picked off his toes and again blocked by the Australians. And that's gone across the court and giving the point to Australia. And you can see straight away the referee, Liu Zhang from China, being asked a couple of questions by the Koreans, especially Han Sun-soo. But you can see the net is rocking and rolling. The aerial nearly came down. Here's Australia with the serve. Oh, they put it away. Bad service, poor service. And the Australian moves away a little bit dejected, and that was Travis Passier. Service with Korea. They lead by 11 points to 6. Oh, again, the blocks are there. The spike coming from the Australian number 9, Adam White. But the Koreans blocked it, and coming out is the number 9 for Australia, Adam White. And going in is Nathan Roberts. Nathan Roberts, the 26-year-old, and he plays with the Hashaba club. Service to come from the Korean side. Kim again, left-handed, blocks, just put a little bit too far ahead of themselves, and it was Wang Jin who got a hold of that and put it away. So Korea out by 13 points to 6. Service to come. Again, the blocks are there, but this time they have to block it, and block it really well, but they weren't able to do that, and it came down on their own side. See, it dropped right down behind them. 6 points of a deficit at the moment. Korea lead. The Koreans have to push it back. Now a chance for the Australians to set it, and they do. That's a terrible spike by the number 1 for Australia, Aiden Ziegel. Aiden Ziegel plays in Verona in Italy for the blue volleyball Verona team. That was a bad mistake. 6'4", this man. Here's the service for Korea. Go long. Now they set it. Now they come down this side, and they miss that again. They put it out of play. That was Nathan Roberts. And the timeout called. And the timeout is called by the Australians, and this is their second timeout. And they trail by 7 points to 15. So 8 points of a difference between the two sides at the moment, and that's a big lead to give Korea. Remember, Korea are former title holders of this ASEAN Senior Men's Volleyball Championship. They've won it 3 times. Australia have won it once. So the players go back on court. The number 16, one of the danger men for Korea, Kim, the left-handed player. Right beside him is Young. In front of them is Han Sun-soo. And the service is going to come from this man, the number 5, Park San-ha. Good spike. That time it came off for the Australians, even though the delivery was a bit slow. Thomas Edgar was the one who finished it off. Now they go to Nathan Roberts. Blocked by the Aussies, and it was their number 1, Aiden Zingel, who was able to block that and block it down on court. Yep. Service again for Australia. Blocked again by the Australians. That time the number 1 was helped out by Sam Walker. And the Australians have closed the gap. 10-15. There was only one blocker there. Possible chances are if they had been a second one there right beside Thomas Edgar, they might have got away with it, the Australians. But we get to the first technical timeout, and it is Korea out by 16 points to 10. The Australians have started to play a little bit better, but it's taken them 2 timeouts to get it right. And they've also had 2 technical timeouts as well now. But in this one, they've had one already. So they've had 3 timeouts to straighten out some of the problems they are having. And one of the problems they're having is that sometimes they have a blocker who's completely isolated. And once he's isolated on one side of the net, the Koreans are able to attack him. So they're ready to go back on. Waved there by Lu Jiang and Takashi Ishita from Japan. And the serve is going to come from Korea, and it's going to come from Xiang Wangxin. It's going to go down the center if the signal is correct. That's exactly what he does. Good spike by the Australian. Big bomb. Yeah. Big bomb from the Australians. There's the coach. And there's the Koreans can set it up, but blocked back on the court by the Australians. Was it? No, it wasn't. Actually, it looks as if it was. Back. Let's have a look at it. That's a strange decision. The television shows it completely different from what the officials have. But that was one that was, it looked as if it was going for the back door. Unfortunately touched by Sam Walker. Here's the Koreans to serve. This is Han Sun-soo. Again, they go for the corner, but the Australians are able to rescue it. Luke Parry gets it back. Now the set. Oh yes, left-handed player. The left-handed spike came from Kim Jong-wan. And the Australians make a change. And they've taken out the number 13, and the number 18 is gone in. Not the number 18, the number 19. 15 is in there. Here's the service again from Sun Tzu, Han Sun Tzu. Australians put it up, blocked, and going to go and chased down by the Korean, and that was Jeong chasing it down, but it went out, and it's 12-19. Service with the Australians. This is their number 19, the Aussies number 19, Thomas Edgar. He's 6'10". Blocked by the Australians. Point going to go to Korea. There's a fresh air shot. The set should have been pretty good, but Travis Passy was the one who missed the shot, and the number 14 comes out. Kochev, and the number 10 has gone in, Bell. Blocked by the number 15, and that is Thomas Douglas Powell. Not a great start for the Australians. Gave the Koreans too many opportunities and too many early chances. Rescued by the Australians, but too far back. They got to push it back. And again, it's the left-handed outside hitter that's causing the problems for the Australian. Left-hand outside hitter, the number 16, Kim Jong-wan, 25 years of age, 6'5". Good service. The Australians get it back right over the net. Now they can set it again. The blocks are there, and it went right through the blocks, and it gives the Koreans a 23-13 lead, 10-point lead. And coming out for the Koreans, number 9 is Hwang. Signal suggests that they should go wide. Rescued by the Australians. They're not going to get that, are they? They did. They got it. They came back with it. And then there's the spike, but that's blocked again. The Australians go on the attack this time, and that one went out off court. And it looked as if, let's take a look at it again, was it going to drop in? Oh, it just did. It just dropped in. Set point for Korea, 24-13. Good spike. Good spike right along the ground from the number 3, Nathan Roberts. Service with the Australians. Oh, and that's it. There's the Koreans who take out the first set by 25 points to 14, but a very poor start by the Australians. Maybe nerves got to them. I don't know what it was, but John Uriarte will be very disappointed with that performance. You can't afford to give away 8 points at the start of the set. So the first set goes to Korea by 25 points to 14. Team's ready to go back on court, and it's the Koreans who are firing on all cylinders at the moment. They've taken out the first set by 25 points to 14. A couple of bad errors by the Australians, and I can tell you that was certainly pointed out to them by John Uriarte, their coach, during the break, and John and his assistant Daniel Eilert. They had a lot to say. A lot, and I mean, somebody got a blast from a furnace in the ear from the coach. They're playing better than that. That was a very poor start for the Australians in that first set. The Australians starting with a completely different formation. They started at the number 12 and 13, and both of them are out. And now the new players that have gone in, the number 9, Adam White, the number 18, the number 3 has gone in, Nathan Roberts, to start the action. Korea out by 2-0. Recovered by the Australians. Can they get something out of here? No, you can't jab at something like that, but they get the point because it came astray from the Koreans, and it was the Australian number 3, Nathan Roberts, that was able to pounce on that and knock it down. One, two. Oh, yes. Good left-handed spike from the Koreans. Now went flying past the outstretched hands of a couple of Australians and then past Grigor Sukochev. Oh, Australia have given it back again. That's poor. And then the little cut shot by the Korean number 12, Jung Hwang-jin. And he was able to put that one away. Korea out 4-1. Set by the Australians, and eventually they get something good on track. Thomas Edgar with that one, able to spike it down. Very powerful, tall man. Here is the number 3, Nathan Roberts. But the Koreans are saying anything you can do, we can do better. That's exactly what they were able to do there. This is the Korean player Park San-hae, 27 years of age, 6'5", is in the Korean Army, plays with the Army team. Goes with a long service, rescued by the Australians, put up, blocked, rescued again by the Koreans. Now they can set it, and they do, and the Australians keep it up. It came off the back of one of their players. The Koreans set it again. The blocks are there, rescued at the back by Luke Perry, the libero, and then the Australians allow the shot to go across. And as you can see, the man who was nearest to it was Thomas Edgar, but he didn't get involved. Service with Korea, they lead 6-2. And there's the spike put away by the Australians, that time right down low. And Luke Perry comes out. And in runs the number 5, Travis Passier. Oh, and that one is in. Caught the line. You can see the Koreans there were a little amused by that. They thought it was going out, well out. 4-6. Blocked by the Australian, but unfortunately blocked off court by Thomas Edgar. Korea with the serve. Oh, it was a bomb of a service, but unfortunately for Jian Hwang-jin, it caught the net. On the left there, John Uriarte from South America, the Uruguayan, coaching the Australian team for a couple of years. And we get to the first technical timeout, and it's Korea out by 8 points to 5. So the Australians again making some more tiny errors. Skill is the question at the moment, the skill. And you got the number 13 there for the Aussie, Sam Walker. Sam Walker is now at the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra. And just like a few of the others, the rest of the team warming up. Benjamin Bell, young man from South Australia, playing with the Institute of Sport as well. But at the moment, Takashi Ashita from Japan and his number 1 referee, Liu Jiang from China, in charge of what is a quiet game. And it is the Koreans out by 8 points to 5, having taken out the first set 25-14 against the very tall Australian side who have made a few errors that will have upset John Uriarte. Oh yes, that was a good run around by the Australians. Good spike by the Aussies, and they got it away from Han Sung-soo. And the serve to come from the number 9 for Australia. This is Adam White. Taken in by the Koreans and put away. 9-6, and the service goes to the tallest man in the Korean team, and this is Ha Young-min, the captain. He's 31 years of age. He's 6'10". Good spike by the Aussies that time, and they forced a mistake, so they get a point nearer to the Koreans. 7 points to 9. They go to their serviceman, Travis Passary. Rescued by the Australians. Can they set it? Yes, they can. Blocked. Back on the Australian side, set again. They come this side, and that's a good point. Put away by the number 19, Thomas Edgar. Thomas Edgar, 21 years of age, 6'10" in height, and he's taken the Australians to within a point of the Koreans. Service to come. This is Travis Passary, and he put that one in the net. Puts the initiative and gives the initiative back to the Koreans. Going to be the Koreans to serve, and this is going to come from their number 9, Quack. Too far though. It was nicely set, but the point is going to go to Korea because it went clean off the board. That's silly mistakes by the Australian team, and that went way wide. So the Aussies are making a lot of mistakes, helping the Korean cause here. Went over the net, flicked over the net, and Gregor Sukachev was not able to get to it. And it's Korea out by 12 points to 8. This is Kwak Soo-seok. Koreans got it back. Blocked off the hands, but went diving straight down to the floor. And the libero for the Koreans, Bo, Young Chen Bo. This left-handed player that time, pushing it wide of the outstretched right hand of Luke Parry. (13-9) to Korea, and this is the left-hander gonna serve. This is Kim. Oh, he put it in the net. See the Australian assistant coach there, Daniel Eilert. Blocked by the Australians, and it's gone off court. And the Koreans have moved out to a 4-point lead. They lead by 14 points to 10. Here's the service from the Korean. Park San-hye. Good attempt at trying to track that one from the Australian Adrian Zingel. Korea 15-10 service. They're scrambling for the ball over there and flick down. Nice piece of play by the Korean. That was Ha, the captain. Jung-min got up over the top of them and was able to flick it down into empty space, and we go to the second technical timeout, and it is Korea out by 16 points to 10. And down on the left is the coach of the Australian team, doing a lot of pointing and directing of everything. The Australians are ready to go back, and you can see there the operation for the Australians. All their coaching staff, doctor, medical people down there. But they have been disappointing in their performance. It's gone off the hands, and it's went more lightly off the hand of Jeong. There's the big Australian. Oh, that's good service. Good service. Nice setting, but the finish was not so good. It went off court, trying to cut across the shot. The service again from the Australian number one, Adrian Zingel. And the Australians taking off their number one. Their captain is 23 years of age. The service going to come from Jeong. Oh yes, good spike. Nicely set up by Gregor Supachov.
Substitution by Korea, number 12 out and number 19 on to Song in. Number 9 out and number 13 in.
Koreans making a change. They have taken out the number 9 and put in the number 13. Song Mung-jung has gone in, and Kwak Sung-suk has come out. And there he is, immediately into the action. Song putting that one away. So it takes the Koreans out to an 18-13 lead. And the service is going to come from Han Sung-soo. Here's the service. Don't know which one it hit, but it went down and down for the Australians, and timeout called. Timeout called by Australia. And in this, the second set, and they trail by 13 points to 19. The coach is down there sitting down on a chair and talking to the players. Boys ready to go back. So the teams go back. And it's the Koreans to continue with the serve. They lead by 19 points to 13. Once the whistle blows, it means that man, Liu Zhang from China, the #1 referee, says everything is in order. And Han Sun-soo can serve. Three blockers there, and the left-handed player Kim is able to drive it past them. Came off the outside man, and it is Korea 2013. Recovered by the Australians. That's going to be recovered by the Koreans. The left-sided player, but he's put it away. Put it way, way wide of everyone and everything. This man, the #9 for Australia, Adam White. Blocked, recovered by Luke Parry, the libero for Australia, and that's gone off their hands. They'll rescue it again, the Koreans. They'll chase down everything. Set up, blocked, and blocked off course by the Koreans. So the Australians have gathered another few points. Bouncing around, left bounce around, that was a little bit too wide, but it came off the arms of the two blockers, Jin and Song. And the timeout is going to be called this time by the official in charge of the Korean team, Ki-won Park. Ki-won Park down below on the right, just trying to sort out one or two little technical problems. Meanwhile, it gives the Australian coach also the opportunity to sort out a couple of technical problems. That's exactly what they're both doing at the moment. Time to go back on court. There's some of the people in here watching the event, and it is 20 points to 16, or 16-20 now, that the Australians have to serve. There's Liu Zhang, now the Australians. Luke Parry gone through your picture. Good service. Set by the Koreans and blocked off the court by the two Australians, and that was Gregor Sukachev. Here's the serve from the Korean #7, Jin. That one just a little bit too long, over hit again. He's not too happy, is he, that Australian? Travis Passeri.
Timeout by Australia.
the second timeout called by John Uriarte, the Australian coach. He's talking to Edgar. Korean coach also having a word or two. Kiwon Park. There he is, the big tall man walking through your screen. There's some of the youngsters in here. They're officials. This is the Korean serve. But there's the block. The block came off Song Meon-gung. (23-16) Korea. Oh, that's a good spike. That was Travis Passery. Blocked and gone off court from the hands of the Australians, and the point goes to the Koreans, and it means that they're at set point 24-17. 24-17, and they've taken the first set point. Powerful serve, powerful, knocked over a big tall Australian, but that's the second set to Korea, 25-17. So they lead Australia in this, the fourth of the quarterfinals, by 2-0. Welcome back to our coverage of quarterfinals day here at the 17th ASEAN Senior Men's Volleyball Championship for 2013. We're inside the Hamdan Sports Complex here in Dubai in United Arab Emirates. and we're watching the fourth quarterfinal between Australia and Korea. And at the moment, Korea are having a very easy walk through the quarterfinals. They have taken out the first 2 sets against the Australians. The Australians playing way down on their form. They lost the first 25-14. They've lost the second 25-17. I'm sure the coach, John Duarte, and his assistants will be scratching their head down there wondering what's going on with their team. But they have not even started. They've made a lot of mistakes, a lot of skill mistakes that you wouldn't expect from a team that has reached the quarterfinals of this men's senior volleyball championship. But it's going to be the Australians to serve. Left-handed player from Australia is Gregor Sukachev. And there's a chance for the Australians. Can the Koreans rescue it? They can. And Luke Perry at the back, the libero, rescues it for Australia. And that one has touched fingers. Lucky enough for the Australians, it touched fingers and it went flying off the court. So they start with a first point, but they've got to really lift. This is Gregor Sukachev again. Blocked, but it went right through the blockers from the left-handed Korean, and it went in, and that's Kim. Gregor Sukachev we saw there in action, and he's at the Institute of Sport. And there's some perspiration on the court, and the Koreans want it cleaned off. They get it cleaned off, and now the service to come from their number 5, Park. Park goes long. Oh, again, the return from the Australians played it right into the hands of the Koreans. When you see this here, the dig by the Australians, they were able to dig it out, put it up too high, gave the Koreans a great opportunity to spike and put it away. Rescued again by Luke Parry, the libero. Because now it's the turn of the Koreans. And there's a nice piece of setting. And the setting was done by the number 2. And the put away was very clever. And that was Han Sun-soo. Service rescued by the Australians, put up, spiked, blocked by the Koreans, and blocked by the Australians that time as the Korean attack machine Kwang Sung-suk came racing in, was thinking that he was going to put that one away, and the Australian blockers were in the way. And now for Australia, it's their number 3, Nathan Roberts, who's going to serve. Picked up off his shoelaces by the Korean, but the Australians have it back, and now they can go for a spike down the middle. But great defensive play, great blocking by the Koreans. You just have a look at it here, and the 2 blockers were in the way, and instead of Australia getting a point, the point has gone to Korea. There's the bench of the Australians with Daniel Aylott and John Uriarte down there, and Andrew Strugnell, the team manager, also on the bench. But they'll be disappointed because this is not a good performance from the Australians. They can play a lot better than this. This is the number 1 for Australia, big tall man, Adrian Ziegler. Blocked, set, too near the net maybe, and that one has gone off the arms of the Korean. Service to come from Aiden Zingjel. Singjel puts it in the net. And we're down to the situation where Korea are back in front 5 points to 4. And this is Han Sun-soo with the serve. Set, and the setting was done by Gregor Sukachev. You see why he shakes his head, because he set it up pretty well, and then the spiker came in from the outside, from the right-sided hitter position, and missed. That was Thomas Edgar. Australian rescue it. Luke Parry has to give it back. Set by the Koreans, rescued by the Australians. Good blocking, good digging by the Koreans. They've been a bit lucky in that one. Oh, what a mistake by the Australian at the back. The number 3, no need for Nathan Roberts to touch it. It was going to go way off court, and he put his hand up and gave an easy point away to the Koreans. That's what I say about the little skillful mistakes that the Aussies are making, and it's hurting. Rescued, had to be flicked down, put back up by the Australians, and that's gone off the fingers, but rescued again by the Koreans. Now the Australians. Parry sets it up, and the spike came in, and the spike again by the Australian, and that is another one that went way wide of the mark from the number 19, Thomas Edgar, and we get to the first technical timeout in set number 3, and it is the Koreans out by 8 points to 4. Let's give some credit to the Koreans. They're playing very well, playing well within themselves, to be honest about it. And their coach down there at the moment must be pretty happy, Ki-won Park. And right beside Ki-won Park is Jin So-no, and Chang Si-won is 2 assistants. But the Australian with their Libra, Luke Parry. There's the siren for them to play, and it's going to be the Korean Han Sun-soo, the number 2, set play in action again. Blocked by the Aussies, put up, but only given back to the Koreans, and they can polish this off with the left hand, but that time it was the Australian defenders who were able to contain that attack, and now the blockers are there, and this time the block comes from the number 19, Thomas Edgar, and falls into court. And he's going to go back to the service line now. He wins 1 point, and he gives the next point away with a poor serve. Koreans are gone to their number 17, their captain, Ha Kyung-min. He's 31 years of age now. Giving back to the Australians, and the block was there from the Australians, but they blocked it off court. Korea 10 points to 5, and the Australians are going to make a change, and they're taking out the number 9, and the number 9 coming out is Adam White, and gone into the action. Spiked, rescued. Oh yes, forced him to make the mistake. Korean captain comes out, and there's another mistake from the service line by the Australian, and that time it was by the number 15, and that's Thomas Douglas Powell, known as Tom DP. Good service, but the Australians are able to push that one away. They get another point, and it is 11-7. The Australian at the service line is Travis Passery. Can't do anything about that when it takes a big diversion off the hands of the defensive player and flies off court. Recovered, rescued by the Australians. Chance, is that going to be played again by the Australians? They got to go to the far side, and that looks out. Point given away. They've had so many opportunities as the wide spiker, and you can see there outside hitter, left-sided hitter, both making terrible mistakes, trying to go across court, go down the line, making mistakes. Korea out by 13 points to 7. See, that was a good spike by the Australian Nathan Roberts. They need a lot more of them. They trail by 9 points to 13. To Korea. Oh yes, ducked out of the way and let that one float over his head. Luke Perry is not a big tall man. He's only he's not even 6 foot tall. He's only 5'7". Oh yes, good spike. Coming from the Korean number 12, Jung. Jung's gone back to the service line. He's going to serve next. Reaching over the net by the Australian player, and that takes us to the second technical timeout, and Australia trail by 16 points to 9. Yeah, his hand is way over the net in the opponent's court. And just looking down there, the coach and the captain, Kiwan Park. And the Australians at the far end. There's Park Sung-ha. There's the tall Australian team going back into action. There's some of the crowd attending the match. Second technical timeout has ended. Korea lead by 16 points to 9. And they have the service, and it's going to come from Jung Wongjin. Spike by the Australian, and it went off the, let's have a look at it here, straight down into the ground by the Koreans, and there's a timeout called, and the Thai coach, tired coach he is, John Uriate, the Australian coach, just talking to the team, trying to get a little bit more out of them. Maybe it's a lost cause. And he's talking to them, he's asking them, are they tired? But there's something wrong because they don't play like this normally. They're a better side than the score suggests. But of course, this is a strange environment for them as well. Not Dubai, but the court here, because they have been playing at the other court all week at the Club Nassau, because we've had 2 venues in operation, and the Australians have not been here to play at the Hamdan Sports Complex. They've played all of their games in town, and this is a 40-45 minute journey on a good freeway with no traffic to get out here to this sports complex. So they are at a slight disadvantage having not been played here before, and the Koreans have been here. So maybe nerves are playing a part in the performance of the Australians. It's 18-10. Service to come from Korea. And Sung Soo with the serve. Blocked by the Australians, rescued by the moving body of the number 2, Han Sung Soo. And the spike delivered with a fair amount of power. And it very nearly was covered by Bu Yong-chen, the libero for the Korean team. He hasn't got a service right all night. Adrian Zingel, the captain, 6'10" in height, but will be the first to put his hand up and admit that he made a few errors here. Is the serve to come from Korea. Oh yes, nice spike. Serving for the Korean team was the number 12 Jeong. I can tell you that their number 17, Ho, has come out. Bit of lack of communication there between the number 5 Park and the number 13 Song. And 2 court attendants around there. Moving perspiration when the player dives on the ground, perspiration from his body comes along the ground, and of course the player can easily slip over and damage themselves. So that's why the court attendants are always there ready to help out. And with the Koreans, they've taken out the number 19, Oh, and gone into the action is the number 12, Jeong. Oh, that service. Bit of power behind it, but too much. Change by the Koreans. Number 13 comes out. And that's a Song. And the number 9 has gone back in. That's Guan. The Australians are able to get it back, but they're not able to sort out the block. And the captain of the Australian team is gone over to the number 1 referee, to Lu Jiang. That's Aiden Zingel. Made a complaint to the referee about something. Set by the Australians, pushed down. Pushed up again, gone off the hands of the Australians. The Koreans are just a little bit too clever for the Australians. When the Australians think they're going to get hammered with a spike, it's the subtleties that the Koreans are able to hide, and that's what they've done. They've produced a fair amount of skill. Australia made a change, and they've brought in their number 10, Benjamin Bell. And that one again inside the line. So the Koreans go out to a 23-14 lead. And the Australians make a change. And they've taken out the number 15, Thomas Douglas Power. And a timeout called by John Uriarte. He'll be very disappointed with their performance, as will all the players as well, because they know they can play a lot better than this. They have reached the quarterfinals here, where you look at the top teams that are in here. You had Thailand, Japan, you had Iran and Lebanon, China and India, and Australia and Korea. So you can see it was the cream that came to the top. But unfortunately, when it was required and needed by the Australians, they were just completely off form. They may have left all their skill and their talent back at the Al Nazar club in the city of Dubai. Good spike by the Australians. Australian up in the stand on the far side has got bongo drums. And then they needed bongo drums because that was a poor service from the Australian Benjamin Bell. And it means that it's giving Korea set point, match point. Oh yes, good spike. The Australians, through Nathan Roberts, keep the game still alive. 16-24. Now that's it, spiked and put away, and it's an easy victory for the Korean team. They've taken out the third set by 25 points to 16. So we now know the situation as far as the semi-finals are concerned. It is Iran against China, and it will be Korea against Japan. Or maybe it's Japan versus Iran. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Japan versus Iran, and China versus Korea. That'll be the lineup for the semi-finals. Just to recap for you, the quarterfinals. It was Japan over Thailand, 26-24, 25-21, 25-16. In the second quarterfinal, Iran against Lebanon. Iran 25-19, 25-18, 25-17. In the third, it was China and India. And India took the first set off at China, 22-25. And then China added the next three, 25-22, 25-21, 25-18. And in the fourth quarterfinal, we've just seen Korea defeat the Australians 25-14, 25-17, 25-16. So that's it from quarterfinal day here at the 17th ASEAN Senior Men's Volleyball Championship. To hope that